All right, man. What was your introduction to Muay Thai, and what made you stay with the sport when others fell off?
My introduction to Muay Thai was I started. I mean, now that I think about it, probably 2001 or two. I was training at a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym, and they had a Muay Thai program, and I was horrible at it, and I watched a bunch of UFC and stuff like that, and so I started taking classes. And then as soon as I started taking the classes, I realized I was really horrible at it. And then the more that I did it, the more gratified I felt as I got better and better at the sport, that I stopped going to jiu-jitsu classes and just hyper-focused on Muay Thai. And then the people that I was doing Muay Thai with were very like-minded, so I felt more comfortable doing Muay Thai than I did at even doing jiu-jitsu or other martial arts at the time. So I just kind of stuck with it. And then as you keep doing that, you realize all of a sudden you were doing 2 classes a week, and then it became 4, then it became 8, then it became double days, and it became this. And so I just started just kind of living it. So it kind of just crept up on me like that. But
Yeah, it's weird. I remember first going and like seeing people like yourself hitting pads and be like, "Whoa, that'd be crazy to hit pads like that one day."
yeah.
And then you hit pads like that, and then you're like, "Oh, it'd be crazy to have a fight like that one day." And then you have a fight like that, and it just like continues to go
Well,
on.
it's very much like a gateway drug. It's like you try it, and then if you know within your first like 10 minutes if you like it or not.
Yeah.
And then if you do like it, you want to get back to it. It's like eating Chinese food. It's like after you get done with a big plate, 20 minutes later you want some more. And that's how it was for me. It's not like that for everyone, but for me it made sense.
Yeah, for sure. Before we get into the other questions, what's your age,
Okay.
and how many fights do you think you've had? I know you have a couple titles as well.
Yeah.
When you were younger.
I'm turning 40 this year, which is confronting.
That's awesome.
Fights. I think I got like 4 or 5 MMA fights, and then amateur Muay Thai. I'd say about 20, and then professional 1 or 2. Like not very many. I came up at the worst time for Muay Thai. There was like no shows, no fights. Lucky if you fought once a year. So
Yeah.
my record doesn't reflect my ability of training.
That's still sick though, man.
Well, no, it's like super cool, but at the same time, I was like, nowadays kids got like 20 fights before they even they're over 18 in the States, which is crazy.
Yeah. The promotion's growing, and
The sport's growing, which is good, but back in you had to take MMA fights if you wanted to do Muay Thai, and so it's like I had so many MMA fights because there was no Muay Thai.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how it works.
Absolutely. That's still sick though.
And then titles, I won a WFC title, won an Arena Wars title, I can't remember the other promotion. I won some MMA belt up in Washington. I wish I could remember it. I cannot. And then in-house tournaments and small stuff.
Right.
Nothing too big.
Well, it's cool when you do so many and you just kind of forget about how many it is. Like, you really have to think about it.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I tell people is like belts, and like all belts are super cool. Most of these belts are from my students, which is 10 times cooler for me. But like, they come and go.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, and traveling to Thailand and talking to people that actually fight, like, they only care about the number of fights. No one gives a shit if you were like, some junior, heavyweight champion in some regional promotion, and you defended it twice in like Idaho. Like, no one gives a shit about that. Like, how many fights do you have? And then you can tell by how someone moves what their level of Muay Thai is. So it's like, when we were in Thailand this year, everyone's like, how many fights? So I go about 20. They're like, okay, that looks about right. Or like at 30. Oh, that looks cool. Like, I don't know. It's just like number of fights matters way more than anything, at least in this sport.
No, for sure. Well, it's cool, just like we were talking about. Oh, that'd be cool to get here. That'd be cool to get there.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of forget about it. It's the same thing.
Well, it's one of those things. Like, I really wish when I was younger I had done more to remember the journey. I was so focused on like the next fight, that I didn't appreciate it nearly as much as now in hindsight that my active career is behind me. I wish I had enjoyed the journey way more and like the process.
Yeah.
Especially now with my fighters, like I'm so happy to I constantly remind them to like enjoy this and to remember this and document and write it down, keep videos, keep pictures, do all that stuff, because it will get lost in time. And while belts are cool, I'd much rather remember like something from like a camp or like some concept that was a big breakthrough moment for me. I wish I'd written that down, or I wish we had camera phones back then.
Yeah.
I
VHS
just
and DVD.
keep getting older and older.
Can you paint a picture of your first Muay Thai coach? What did he give you that still lives in your style today?
Okay, so I remember the first time I was ever introduced to Muay Thai, and I remember like training Muay Thai, like I trained with Casey Balkenbush, and I remember my first classes with him. I was actually training in a proper Muay Thai setting, because everything else was like Muay Thai in it, but it really wasn't.
Right,
like I was going to MMA gyms, other places, and they would say it, and just because you kicked a certain way, it was Muay Thai, and like that's not it at all.
Yeah, yeah.
But my first Muay Thai class, I remember the first time ever getting kicked in the leg, and I'll never forget it. I remember the first time I got kicked, not even super hard, but the first time straight up in the leg, and it's a feeling I'll never forget. And if you've ever been kicked in the leg, you remember what that is feeling.
Yep.
And how sobering it is. And I realized I didn't know shit, and it was very humbling. And I realized that there was so many things I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I realized I need to keep coming back to learn, to fill up as many holes as possible.
Right.
It was just funny. But my first experience was humbling.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. As your age now, do you feel like Muay Thai saved your life, or did it demand more than it gave?
No, I feel like Muay Thai for sure saved my life.
Yeah.
I know I aesthetically look a certain way because I'm bald and I got a bunch of tattoos, but I was a piece of shit when I was younger. Like I was getting in street fights and on gang unit and all these other things, and did so many horrible wastes of time and energy that I found something that like grounded me and gave me a reason to not go out and do stupid shit, and gave me a reason to stay sober, and gave me a reason to care about my diet, and gave me a reason to somewhere to go. And then I found the people that later would become some of my best friends and some of my mentors even. And it just was like, to me, I don't say it saved my life, but it gave me gravity. It brought me back down and like kept me where I should be. And now it's what I do for a living, which is the coolest thing in the world. But if you would have told 23-year-old Brennan that, I don't know if I would have, I wouldn't have believed you at all. Because I'm like, there's no future in this. And it's like, now it's like, I get to help other people get out of that shit. And I get to help people find some level of, honestly, purpose and like gravity. Keep them down. Like, because you can get so lost in this world with so many other shit. And it's just like, Muay Thai gave me so much purpose that I'm lucky. I feel lucky that I found it. Like, truly.
Yeah. Takes away all the crazy situations, gives you responsibility.
Well, it makes you know what it does? It gives you clarity of thought in those situations of whether or not you need to do it. Yeah. Or whether or not you should even be there.
Oh, for sure.
Like, it really does. And so like I feel very, very fortunate to be one of the few ones that's like found a path and found a niche and found a way to use Muay Thai. But so many people I've trained, I mean, as you have, like, seen some people come and go for so many years.
Yeah,
who use it for a little bit and like don't take the real lessons out of it, or like use it just to like, you know, fight or hurt people or do something like that.
Oh,
it's just
absolutely.
like you're missing the point. You're missing the point entirely. To me, I'm very lucky that I had good coaches and good teammates and good people to illuminate what I should be into and also what I shouldn't be into.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy, right? With all the different characters. I don't know if you've seen this movie. It just came out. It's with Shia LaBeouf. It's like one of his movies back from him being crazy and whatnot. But it's called Salvable, I think. It was pretty good. I watched it on Amazon the other night.
Yeah.
And it was it just went into like the backstory of this character, that he didn't have anything going for him, and that's all he had going for him was a boxing gym. And it's interesting how many characters you meet, like not only throughout the journey, but just in general, like how many characters you meet this year, last year, and then in the full scope of things, it's nuts. Like,
dude, absolutely. Like, I was looking, because we still do a lot of paper waivers here, and I have over 10,000 waivers or something like that over the 11 years or whatever.
Crazy.
Like, I have like, it's a grip. It's a grip. And I realize I've met all these people. And I realized that, like, out of these people, maybe 100 have stuck, like, been in the gym for a substantial amount of time. And I'm just like, you have such a, people are flocking to the sport now, but, you know, 20 years ago, that was not the case. So you had the same 6 people for years. But now it's just like, it's such a gateway to meeting other people and different experiences, different cultures. I mean, it's taken me all over the world. It's taken my students all over the world. And it's just been like, I don't know, it's just such an opportunity. And if you can look at it through, like, one lens of just, like, punch, kick, elbow, knee, but it's like, no, it's just so much more. If you want it, if you just need it for punch, kick, elbow, knee, that's totally fine too. That's what makes it kind of sick. But I feel like if you're not getting some culture out of it, then you're missing the whole point.
Absolutely. That, well said. Super well said.
Thank you.
Has coaching brought you healing in ways that, like, fighting couldn't?
Yes, absolutely. That's a really good question.
You think you can touch on that?
That's a really good question, because no, absolutely. Because I'll be the first to admit, I think I'm a mediocre athlete. Like, 100%. Like
Once you go to Thailand, we all feel that way.
but even in like the States, I mean, I had training partners and I had like coaches and shit who were just like amazing. And like I was a guy who had to grind really hard to get to even a mediocre level. And I would not say I'm bad at this, but like I know good people and I know me. And so, but the one thing I will say is like while I was like, I'll say I was like a solid B fighter, absolutely B. But I think I'm an A+ coach. Like I think coaching is what I'm supposed to do with this sport. And they say those that like can't do teach, and like I can do Muay Thai, but like I'm way more fulfilled and healed essentially with coaching. Like it's not so much that like coaching is better than fighting. It's just like, to me, I love the 9 to 5 of this, and I love helping people get to their goals, and I like motivating people, and I like staying in the gym and being active and all that stuff. And I do miss fighting. Like getting older sucks. Like I do. If there was like a Champions League, like I have no business fighting a 22-year-old. But like if there were like some dads out there that wanted to like just compete, I'd be so down. I'd be so down, because I'm also, there's so many worse things you could be into this sport. You could have a gambling problem. You could have
drinking, whatever.
You could have drinking. You have all these like all these vices, and like so you want to stay in shape and compete and make some money and put on a show. Like there's so many worse things you could do in this world. Yeah. But coaching is fulfilling in a way that I never thought it would be. Yeah. Like I kind of fell backwards into coaching, and it's like I just started doing it to help my coach because he wanted a night off, and then all of a sudden I started like,
I remember that. Yeah.
I started really like growing towards it, and then I just started like, I think I don't even know how it happens, but it just all of a sudden that started taking up more bandwidth, and I like talking to promoters, and I like booking fights and figuring out a camp, and I like this side of it. Now it turned out that I can do this way longer than I can fight, which is super cool. But like, I still miss fighting. Yeah. I love. Yeah. I mean, everyone who's a fighter is a psycho, and I think, for sure. And all of us love to be the center of attention for at least 10 minminutes of the fight, and then after that, it's like, I don't. But also, as I kept fighting, as I got older, the anxiety got way worse. I had crippling anxiety in my last like 4 or 5 fights, like really bad. Yeah. That had never come up before.
Why do you think that is?
You know what? I don't know. I honestly, injury kids having your kid watch you train and fight is
it's crazy.
It's weird as shit, especially when this is such a like solo act for so long, and then you have family and things show up. Yeah. I started putting way too much pressure on myself because I was the coach and because I had a gym and because you want to live up to that. And then fighting got to be so stressful that it was like, I'd have like full on panic attacks. And then like I'd work myself through, and then the fights would go whichever way, win or lose, doesn't really matter. But it just like, it started getting not fun. Yeah. And then it just, after a while, like your body does betray you. You do this, I've been doing this for 20 years, man. I can't keep up with half the people in my room right now for that many rounds and stuff like that. So it's just like, coaching is a very good place for me. I miss fighting, but when I go and coach my students and they have to do all the weigh-in photos and do the face-offs and all that, the stuff that would make me super anxious, I'm so happy I'm not fighting. I'm like, that's for you. I was like, enjoy that, young man. And enjoy awesome, that young lady.
How has your role as a father influenced you to coach fighters? And let me flip that. How has being a father, or how has being a coach helped you with being a father?
It's honestly, the one thing it taught me more than anything is boundaries. Like awesome. I have one son, and that's the only person that I need to be omnipotent and up their ass about everything and like be a father. Amen. That's awesome. And it's like the most important thing. But it's taught me with like my students that like sometimes I can usurp or take on like a fatherly figure, and I kind of nip that shit in the bud now, because it's like you need to view me as a coach, and you need to view me, and I can be a friend and a coach, but like you're here for coaching. You're not here for dad advice. I'm not gonna give you a TED talk about where you need to be working and shit like that. I need to help you with your Muay Thai. Yeah. And if relationships grow and I can give you some good advice that helps you, sure. I do feel I feel good in that. But on like the flip side, being a father made me a better coach, where I start to get more invested in the people. Like, you're only going to be in Muay Thai for as long as you're going to be. Right. If you're a lifer, that's super sick. We'll have a great relationship as everything. But if you're only here for 2 years, I want to help you prepare for as much of your life outside this room as possible, like a father does to a son, but with clear boundaries. I want to make sure that you're doing the right stuff. I want to make sure you understand the point of hard work and dedication and setting goals, and also falling short of those goals. If you lose a fight, it's not the end of the world. And it's like, if you quit, it's, you know, it's game over. And so it's like, that's like almost some fatherly advice.
100%.
But I don't take it from a father perspective. I don't know if that makes sense. Because
that makes so much sense.
Gym coaches get too culty and shit like that, where they like try to get into I don't need my fingers in everyone's pies and shit. I'm like, no.
Yes.
I'm here to teach you Muay Thai, and if I can help model good behavior, and like, I have so many young men come in and out of here who don't have a good head on their shoulders. And I have some women that have the exact same thing, but it's predominantly male.
Right.
And like, learning to fucking be a productive person of society, learning to work through whatever biases they have when they come in the door, or whatever isms that they're in. I want people to leave here being a better version of themselves, and with some cultural appreciation, whether it's my culture or Thai culture or even just the room's culture.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to be better leaving here. Even if you only come for one class or you stay for 10 years. Like, you should hopefully be a more evolved human and know some good Muay Thai. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Like, that's what
I'm
truly
super
is
glad.
my goal.
I've heard a student and a brother relationship for like a coach, student and a coach, or student and father for like that type of relationship. And I agree on those two things, but being a father, just like what you said, having that boundary, like, you don't need to know everything that's going on.
No.
You need to be focusing on the task at hand. I came here for Muay Thai, I came here for boxing, whatever. You said that really well, man.
Well, and it's just like, I can't do that with 100 people. And then it makes my relationship with my son less than, because I don't give the same energy to him. And he's my biggest priority and my biggest, you know, my most important piece of work. So I got to make sure, not even just for him to like to fight or be an athlete. I'm like, he's got to be a developed, well-adjusted human in 2025, and that shit's hard as hell right now.
Absolutely.
He's 11, going into middle school.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It's scary.
So my energy needs to go to that. But if I can whip a little morality and also give people a safe place to like be themselves and grow, I think I'm doing a good job. But I'm not preaching that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the mentality, man.
Yeah.
What's going into like team building and trust, what's the glue that keeps your gym together as a team, especially when individual egos rise?
That's the hardest thing in the world. That is legitimately one of the hardest things, because if you are a fighter, I really believe you have to be a level of, not like delusional, but you have to see a person and think you can beat them up.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you know, I remember when I was younger, and I remember talking to people that like, and this is like in the mid 2000s, like, oh yeah, I can beat up GSP, or like they would say stuff like that. I was never that guy. I was like, oh, I'll fight him, but like, I don't know if I win, but like, I'll fight him.
Right.
Like, and I have confidence in myself. He would have beat 7 shades of shit out of me. But it's just like, you have to be delusional a little bit to think you can do this sport. And I mean that in a good way. And when you're fighting and getting ready, you have to be God tier when it comes to your confidence. It's my job as the coach to knock that down, to put it in the perfect spot, and to make sure that if you don't have that we start to build that. But as soon as that, you know, that last bell is, that's got to die immediately. Yep. And you got to go back to being a teammate, and you got to go back to being a friend or a coach or whatever it is. So that's one of the hardest things. Ego is a great thing, but it's literally like sprinkles on a cupcake. Too much sprinkles on a cupcake make it inedible. So if you have too much ego, you're going to burn out in the sport. You're going to lose. You're going to eventually hit a rough spot, or you're not going to stick with it. Some of the most egotistical people I've ever met, who are the best athletes in the world, wash out within a year or two, and it's because they can't handle the hardships. And like, it's my job not to knock you down or tear you down, but just to turn down the volume on that godlike atmosphere. But you do have to be delusional to do this stuff. You really do. And if you are too hard on yourself, you're never going to get over that hump and start to have actual breakthroughs. Like, if you think that you're never going to win a fight, you're probably never going to win a fight.
Right.
Like, and it's crazy. The more you do the sport, the more you see how much the mind has to do with the body.
Yeah, it's
like,
nuts,
it really
man.
does. And it's like, and also if you're one of those people that's kind of like, you know, I really think I'm going to do well, you probably will do well. Like, you have to be humble and full of ego at the same time. So it's my job to make sure it's even. And sometimes like this, sometimes like that. But It's just, that's the hardest part of a coach. My job as a coach is to make sure that the pH balance in the room is non-acidic. And when things get acidic, I got to kick people out. And protecting my culture in the room is one of the most important things. I talk to other coaches about this all the time.
Yeah.
Lino at Main Event is one of the better examples of it.
Absolutely.
And he's a phenomenal promoter and a great dude. But it's just like we talk about protecting the culture of your room, and it's just like it's my job to do that. I have to be the bouncer.
Yeah.
And I also have to be the motivator.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to know which hat to wear that day.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Yeah.
Because there's no off season.
Oh, 100%.
Every
no
day.
seasons in Muay Thai.
No,
for sure.
you just fight until you can't. So
Yeah.
it's just like it's hard to find that balance.
Super well said, man. How do you know when a fighter is ready, and not just physically but spiritually for battle?
It's tough. It's when a fighter is ready. It's honestly, I always notice it when I'm watching someone spar or watching the footage, and when I'm looking to see if there's potential for someone fighting. Clearly, they're being consistent. They're doing their runs. They're not complaining about all those other things. They're changing their body in a cool way and losing weight and finding their weight class, all this other stuff. But I just see them sort of go into autopilot, and like not necessarily like in a sabai type sort of way, but like that they're doing exactly what I would do in that situation. Whether
Flow
it's
state,
where it's like they're just understanding the concept.
Yeah.
I don't expect them to win that sparring that I'm watching. They could be sparring someone better or worse or like whatever it is, but they're putting their alphabet together. They're making words, they're making sentences, and they're making it make sense. And that could be something as simple as like slipping and rolling with a punch, or like checking and returning, or something. But if there's a little beacon of hope in that process, I will start to cultivate that and like nudge it in a certain way, not try to break it right away or gas it up too much, but I'll give it a little bit more attention. If you're a coach of a gym, we have 100 students here. It's like I got to give enough attention to everybody. But when I see something, I will clock it, and then I'll ask other people who sparred with them. I'm big on peer feedback. Like I really am.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you did that round with so and so. How'd that feel?
Yep.
He's doing this well, this well, this well. It's like, okay. And then I'll ask 5 other people the exact same question, and then I'll kind of start to broach the subject. If someone comes in and they're just telling me that they're going to be a fighter the first day they're here, 80% of the time that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And in my style of Muay Thai is much more like, I think Muay Thai is for everybody. Fighting is for some people. Like Muay Thai, anyone can do Muay Thai. Everyone should do Muay Thai.
Well said.
But fighting is really a niche thing. And I have some people who think they're going to be a fighter and like they're working their butt off, and maybe they'll break through and they'll have a crescendo moment, and sometimes they won't. And like the hard thing as a coach is to be honest with that person. And it's also you have to be you're responsible for their health.
Yeah.
So I have pulled people from fights because I don't like the way they look, and I've also rushed people into competing, even sometimes a little too fast, even from my own opinion.
Yeah.
Because I think they can handle it. So it's so different for every single person and every single athlete. But it's for me, it's peer reviewed. I ask a lot of people their opinions in the room, and if I like what I'm hearing, then we'll kind of facilitate that way.
That's awesome, man. You said something about ABCs and sentences. I don't know if I got this from Casey years ago, but I'm pretty sure, at least somebody in the room back in the day, I remember somebody saying sparring or even fighting is like a conversation.
Yes.
So it's like somebody's throwing like, overhands and like super hard low kicks, they're probably yelling at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if they're, pitter-patting, they're probably whispering, so you want to find something in between where you just have this conversation.
You find the right frequency, and that's the most important thing is like, when I have young people come in here and they have no experience, they try to kill someone sparring in the first 10 seconds. And I'm like, that's really cool. That is good. I need you to be able to do that, but like you're not going to have training partners for much longer, and you're not going to have you're not going to be able to. If you only come to training when you feel good or you are winning, you're not going to last.
Yep.
Like you're just not. This is the most humbling. This and jiu-jitsu are the two most humbling things I've ever done in my life, and they're hard. And they have to be hard because the washout rate is high. But if you stick with it, you have something. Even if you're not competing, you're just training all the time and using it to stay in shape and stuff like this, or just for self-defense purposes. Like it's the consistency. Like consistency wins overall. So as like a coach, it's like that conversation. Like if you realize that you can fight someone and get hit, and their intention is not to hurt you, we're just playing a game and we're scoring and we're having stuff like that, you get so much more out of the sport. But like you have to find, there's certain people in this room that I only spar certain times because I know they don't understand how to have the nuance of soft touch. And there's
exactly.
Like I'm like 200 pounds. I can spar a 115-pound woman. I can spar a 90-pound kid. I can spar a 230-pound guy. I have range, which is dope, but that's also just means I've done the sport for a long time.
Comes with experience.
The more languages I speak,
Yes.
so it's just like, you have to be able to be that person to have sustainability and longevity in the sport. Because like I can't treat the 60-pound 12-year-old the same as the 230-pound linebacker.
Right.
Like no, you have to have soft touch, and also you got to be able to turn it up too.
Absolutely.
Because lessons got to be learned. This is a revealing sport, and I do think everyone should do Muay Thai, but it is also pain, and it hurts, and it'll test you, and there's tears, and there's blood, and there's concussions, and there's injuries, and there's all these other things. And it's like that, but that's also part of it.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, this is not a soft sport.
Absolutely.
You got to be hard, but you also doesn't have to be hard every day.
Right.
Depending on your level. You're in Thailand, it's hard every day. It's almost hell-like every day.
Oh man. So Golden Era Muay Thai. Who were your heroes from Golden Era Muay Thai, and how did they influence your style?
Well, so Golden Era stuff. Like I grew up when I was coming up in like Muay Thai. Now it's so different. There's so many good like Instagram accounts or TikToks or YouTube channels that have thousands of fights. So I'm finding out more fighters every week, honestly. When I first started, I mean, the Golden Era like legends. I mean, Johnson, like and he's also become like a friend, and we're very cordial. We've been lucky enough to host him for like seminars. But like he's the coolest guy in combat sports, and also like one of my favorite fighters to ever watch. So I was very fortunate to get turned on to his fighting very, very young into my career, and he's just the coolest. But like, I mean, the Sam Arts, the Bunlas, Karuhats, like, especially now that they're unearthing more fights and footage of these people. Oh my God, dude! I'll just pick a fighter, and just all of a sudden I get to watch their fights for their 1980s Lumpini run. So it's like, Golden Era is the coolest thing. Like, and then being able to train with like Danny Bill and him giving me credit for like my students being good at Muay Thai and stuff like that was like, that's better than any belt behind me. Like having, or even Johnson or Gunyao like say like, hey, your students are good. Like that means so much to me, more than anything I've ever accomplished in like, or Damon Alamos. He's a little bit past Golden Era, but like having him compliment our students was like the coolest shit in the world to me. Like so that amazing. Is legitimately, and like I'm so much bigger on pure respect than like one certain accomplishment, and like having any Golden Era fighter feel like they can teach actual good Muay Thai here, or complimenting our students even after we fight some of their students is like the coolest thing in the world to me. That means more than money, truly, and because it means that we're doing something close to it. And we're in a desert in Nevada, and the fact that we can have legends say, hey, not bad Muay Thai, or like you're on the right track, means more to me than anything.
Yeah.
But so, Golden Era is like the best stuff. If you ever wonder what I'm watching some weird Bunlai fight from like 1996 or something.
Somebody turned it from VHS to DVD.
Oh, and the quality is so grainy and shitty, but it's like that's like the best stuff to me. And like the proper nuance. I wish Muay Thai was more like that nowadays.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. We've had this conversation off camera, but what would you say to the people that are watching for your opinion on 4-ounce gloves and one championship?
Here's the thing. I think there's a time and a place for it, and I think it's a really cool thing. I think it gives a lot of opportunities, and there's a lot of fighters who are making decent money, especially in Thailand, doing that. I hate the fact that it's just stand and bang and like rock'em sock'em robots. I hate that.
Straight in.
Well, it just and like one gives so many people so many opportunities that they should be happy, and like I mean, Sexon's run in one has been amazing to watch, and like it's awesome. It's given him a second career. Even like Rod Tang's whole like ascension, and like Nango, all these like amazing fighters there. But like I like big glove Muay Thai. I like 5-round fights. I like the chess game that is. And like, so I think there's a time and place for it, but I also. Anytime they announce that one of my favorite fighters is going into small glove Muay Thai, I just like I wince. I just go, oh, please. But I also know there's money there. And there's consistency and there's fighting. So it's like I get it. Everyone's here is most prize fighters are here to fight for a prize, and that's to pay their bills. So I try not to. I get pretentious as shit, just like everyone else. I'm like, all right, if this was big gloves, this would have been so different. But it's just like, and like everyone does that. I know that there's a lot of amateur promoters out there, amateur like fight promoters who are trying to get amateurs to do small glove Muay Thai. You can straight up kick rocks on that shit. If you're not paying my guys and my girls real money, like I'm not signing them up for CT. It's weird because I have MMA fighters too, and I'm like, I'm cool with that, but there's so many options and ways to win that you're asking these two high-level strikers to put oven mitts on and swing for the fences, like they out of your mind.
I don't know if you saw, but I still stay in contact with Cy Hansen. Solid dude.
Oh yeah. I love Cy. Cy's one of my favorite fighters to watch. Honestly,
he's really good in like my weight division, if you will. But that was when I was cutting early. Too much weight, as we talked about. But he was doing really good, and then he took the 4-ounce fight, and then I'm pretty sure he got KO.
Well, and that's the thing is like with like small glove stuff, like as a fan, it's awesome.
Oh, for sure.
As someone invested in fighters and like the actual art, you don't need to be good at Muay Thai to be good at small glove Muay Thai. Like, it's really weird.
Yeah.
Like, there's some amazing fights out there where you see this high level of nuance between two practitioners, and like really good Muay Thai in small glove. I always think like a Tao Chai or some shit like that, where I'm just like, wow, that's an amazing fight. Like, he's so good. But like, there's so much can happen with small glove Muay Thai that it's like, I mean, I don't believe in lucky punches.
Yeah.
But like, I want to see like good rallies, and I want to see exciting clinch exchanges, and this turns into right hook, left hook, right hook, left hook as hard as they can.
A couple low kicks.
And it's just like, that's not what I'm into. And like, while I do watch it, I'm not going to be a hypocrite, but I'm like, it's just like, it's really, I would much rather watch Big Love Muay Thai. It sounds so, it's like this difference between like, I like film or in cinema or movie. It's like, no, but it's like, I like 10-ounce gloves, 8-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
You know, I want the golden era stuff. It's just like, it's the same thing with like bare knuckle boxing. Like bare knuckle boxing does nothing for me.
Oh,
like, it's like too brutal, but I will watch boxing.
Sure.
I will watch an actual pugilist compete, but like bare knuckle boxing is like, it's brutal. Like, they are beating the shit. They're taking years off their lives. They're destroying their hands. They're destroying their money makers.
Yep.
And it's like, to me, there's nothing sadder than seeing someone had too much head trauma before they're 30. And it's like, you know, like, I will enjoy their fight career, but like, they're going to be a person for 50, 60 more years. And I do worry about that. And it's weird because like, we take elbows to the head and stuff like that. And you can for sure get punchy from Muay Thai, but like, small glove is that on fast forward.
Oh,
like, you're
100%.
going to catch up real freaking fast.
Yeah.
You know, I worry about like the Rod Tangs and anyone who's just getting hit in the face. Like, those aren't my favorite fighters. Rod Tang's very talented, but I'm like, I like people playing 3-dimensional chess. You know, like, the Raja fights every Saturday are like the best fights in the world.
100%.
And the fact that they're free on YouTube, everyone should be watching them nonstop. When I went to Raja this year, we saw 3 shows in like a week. Yeah. We went to as many times as we could because we saw the best fighters in the world competing in big gloves and exciting fights. Small glove Muay Thai, while is very niche and can be exciting, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, where you're getting all these fighters to be very washed out before they really even hit their prime.
Oh, 100%.
So, I don't know. It's not my cup of tea, but I do watch, so I am as full of shit as everyone else out there.
Hey, man, everybody has an opinion. I've heard the exact opposite, and I'm on the same page as you, though.
Yeah.
In our generation, MMA is like all you hear about.
Sure.
I think it's interesting that, you know, older people like yourself, when I was younger, watching you guys had to do MMA, but then you guys still stuck with Muay Thai. Like, that's true passion. I have like, so much respect for that. In this generation, though, it's the modern competition. It's like, okay, well, he's a boxer, I'm an MMA fighter. You know, that like naturally comes to head, which is, you know, normal. How do you prepare your Muay Thai fighters to transition into MMA without giving away all your sauce?
No, you're fine. I mean, it's a very case-by-case scenario. Some of the best MMA fighters that I've seen are Muay Thai backgrounds. I think Muay Thai is the most encompassing stand-up martial art you need for MMA, like, without question, because you're able to address all the 8 weapons and work on some clinch stuff.
Yeah.
More than just boxing or just straight kickboxing. But it's such a different sport. It's such a absolute different sport. Like, if you can't stop a takedown, you're never going to get anywhere. If you don't understand the nuances of like, I got back into jiu-jitsu in the last couple of years. And I took like 12 years. I got my blue belt in like 2005. And then now I'm just training again up at Renzo Gracie in Reno with Max Magar, which has been awesome, and I love it. And we're building a good MMA fight team there. But it's so hard. The game, jiu-jitsu itself it's so ever evolving and ever growing. And like, my mechanics when I first started up there were shit. And it was like, I remember someone was like, you have like 2005 mechanics. And I was like, yeah, I do. And like, the game has changed so much that you have to me, it's like you have to be so respectful of every facet of it. that you have to train. If you do Muay Thai 6 times a week, you need to do wrestling and jiu-jitsu 4 to 5 times a week without question. If you like, or else if you're starting late, you have to play catch up as hard as possible. And then you have to have separate practices where you combine everything.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to have, you need to have a striking coach, you need to have a jiu-jitsu coach, you need to have you need strength and conditioning. It's huge.
Yeah.
Look at all these people that are just, you know, they're cutting 40 pounds for an amateur fight and they're jacked. And you're just like, Jesus, dude. You like the game, MMA is, if you're an American and you're trying to make money fighting, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, you have to do MMA. There's not a real Muay Thai circuit in the U.S. that can pay the same, or not pay, but like you can have a life with Muay Thai and get as many fights as you
Exactly,
need.
yeah.
So you kind of have to do it. But I'm also like, you may hate wrestling, but I mean, you can do wrestling, get good at it, and then choose not to wrestle. But you have to have enough respect for it to put the hours in and then learn jiu-jitsu and then learn boxing. And then there's a difference between small glove and big glove defense. There's a difference between the conditioning you need in Muay Thai and the conditioning you need for MMA. Like when I was doing MMA fights, wrestling destroyed my body for years, like destroyed it. And like it was just hard. I didn't even wrestle that much, but like you had to do enough. Like getting ready for a Muay Thai camp or like a Muay Thai fight is hard as hell. It's a nightmare in its own way, but it's not the same as like, oh, I got to go to wrestling for 2 hours after this, and then I got to wake up after a nap and go box for 4 hours. No, it's such a different level of output. You have to do that. It's like you really need good coaches around you to help steer you, and also you need to. It's a full-time job. You have to do everything. And if you're lucky enough to have that in like one gym where there's good wrestling and good MMA and good jiu-jitsu and blah blah blah, that's great, but most of the time that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
one
will be higher.
Yeah, well, like lower. I mean, we're the only one of the only gyms in town that just does Muay Thai, and so I have MMA fighters come here for their stand-up, and we'll do MMA rounds here. But we go to the Renzo Gracie Reno, and like we train up there, and like we work our ground game, and they have to be students up there. They have to be hitting classes. And what I appreciate about Max and his philosophy is they need to be at this level. They need to be here. You need to make sure that you can handle any situation thrown at you in MMA, or else you're just going to be embarrassed, and it sucks. And like that's happened to me. I've had it happen to my fighters. It's just like it's a learning process. But MMA, unfortunately for Muay Thai guys, like if you want to stay active, if you want to fight all the time, if you want to make money and maybe do this professionally and stay in the States and MMA is necessary.
Yeah.
It's also one of the best sports in the world to watch.
Yeah.
Like I love MMA. My first love was MMA, and then I got into Muay Thai, and then Muay Thai took it over. But like, you have to do so much to fight it that it's crazy. The earlier you start, the better, and the more foundations you have, the better. But it's just, you have to treat it like a full-time job.
Oh, 100%.
And every discipline like a full-time job.
Yeah.
And you got to find time to sleep in between there.
Yeah, I can't do it, man.
It's a nightmare.
My joints are so shit.
Well, it's just like, starting it later or getting into wrestling and jiu-jitsu later is tough.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's very tough.
Yeah.
Like, and when I say later, I mean like after 26. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even talking like 40. I'm saying like getting
Young.
into these sports is hard. You have to develop a callus, and
Yeah.
it's just like, and you also have to learn to like it.
Uh-huh.
Like getting over that hump of having someone sit on your chest and try to choke you, it takes a while. Your first year of wrestling and jiu-jitsu sucks. Like you learn so much and it's so cool, but like you have very few hope spots and very few breakthroughs. Muay Thai, why I got into Muay Thai was because I felt quicker, immediate gratification on my successes.
Yes.
Where I was like, oh, I slipped that jab, that's cool. In jiu-jitsu, you get hit with the same guillotine 17 times in a practice, and then that'll happen for 6 months, and then one day a light bulb will go off and you'll do this, or a coach will notice it. Luckily, my coach, Max, is incredible at the nuanced details, and so you get better faster. But it's just like, dude, it sucks. Like in Muay Thai, you get better so much easier, but then there's a bigger stale point where you have to work through all of your deficiencies.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is
It's crazy. It's just
a lot, dude.
Another beast.
Truly.
Got a couple more for you.
You're fine.
So competition, war stories. What's the most brutal corner you've sat in, and what did you tell your fighter between rounds? I love seeing those. I think it's Frog TV.
Yeah.
They always show the corners.
Well, like I have had moments. I never really had too many bad moments as a fighter in the corner where I was just like getting scolded. Not necessarily because I once again as a B- fighter. It's just it's the fact that I always kind of had a good ability to execute, and like even fights that I lost or things weren't going bad, I was pretty coachable, so I had that going for me. Some of my moments in people's corners as the coach, like I'm not a yelly guy. I've never been a yelly guy. I've never been screamy. I'm not a drill sergeant. You're paying to be here. Like I don't need to yell at you. But you're fighting. You do need to kick in the pants sometimes, where people are tired or they're not executing. And that's when I save the yelling for. I have said some ill-ass shit to my fighters to get them over that hump, to get them ready for the 3rd or 5th round. I have snatched stools out from people. Like, you don't deserve to sit. What are you doing? You'll see a real Jekyll and Hyde moment with me in that corner, but it's for a purpose. It's not just, like, I've seen corners where they're, like, slapping the shit out of their fight. Like, I think that's disgusting.
Crazy, huh?
I'm like, what are you doing?
He's going to go get hit.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? And, like, also, they need this minute of, like, peace to kind of get some direction. So, like, I try to give technical advice in the corners and keep an even keel, but like I have said some really crazy shit. I remember with one fighter, I was like, are your legs hurting? Like we're going in the 3rd round, we're down 2 rounds. I'm like, are your legs hurting? He's like, no, coach, they feel fine. I was like, you better kick this motherfucker till they break, because or else you're walking home. Like, and we were in Utah. And it's just like, and it's not necessarily, that's not true. Clearly, I'm going to get the kid a ride home. But I'm like, I got to say something. And like, Lou saw a actual change in that person. I've also had people where we come back from the 1st round where they're like, I'm not winning this fight. And it's so funny. I'm like, I don't care if you win, just get through it.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm like, there's a delusional level where you can be like, oh, you know, every second you're going to do it. But there's also the realism of fighting where it's like, there are some people when you start that 1st round, you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Like, and the coach knows it.
Right.
Or we're punching up and it's too high up, and it's like, or there's a whole bunch of reasons. And I'm like, just get through it. Just get through it. All you gotta do is get through it. I've only thrown in towels when I thought people could not. I had to help them from hurting themselves, like said. Going too forward, or like they're not understanding what's going on, and they're not doing
openings.
Yeah, I'm like, I will stop, because I'd rather you pissed at me than you sitting on a stool. I've never had anyone quit on a stool. I've had people try, which was always at like PKB levels, and I've lost my fucking mind. But like, to me, my job is to tell you whatever we need to get to our goal, and our goal is not necessarily to win. Everyone's goal in fighting is to win. To say that you really want to win is like the dumbest shit to me. I'm like, of course, no one does this to lose, like no one. But the goal is to perform well and get to the last bell. If you can't finish the person, and so many Muay Thai fights end in draws or ended by decision, you're not going to knock everyone out. So you have to just get to the last bell. So getting people there is always sometimes a different journey. Some fighters, there's a very good video of me and Orion and me yelling at him before the 5th round of a title fight. And I'm like, I'm saying some crazy shit to him. And I'm only going to keep it between me and him because that's our moment.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You know, I'm not going to do the Teddy Atlas, you're a fireman type shit. But like, I'm not performing for the camera. I'm performing for the fighter to get them where they need to go. And those are also moments that are for me and him. If he ever wants to talk about it, he can say it. But
that's awesome.
But it's like, that's our moments together.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I have said some crazy shit. I've also had to yell at people after they fought, like in the back, but like, it's not necessarily because they lost. It's just because you just didn't perform. You didn't listen.
Yeah.
But fighting is, I say you don't become a good fighter, or you don't understand if you like fighting or be able to be coachable in fighting until your like 5th fight. Like your first 4 are going to be a fever dream.
Yeah. And
they'll go good or go bad, but then by the 5th one, you're starting to kind of develop and kind of understand what you're doing, and then you can listen. Then you can kind of enjoy it.
100%. That's really well said. What's the difference between a fighter who's talented and a fighter who's dangerous?
Oof.
Because you see this all the time.
Yeah. No, that's a really good question. Talented fighter is someone who I only have to say something one time and then they apply it. Talent is someone who has an extra gear in training where they can get there. Talent is someone who doesn't need a lot of motivation to come in. Talent is someone that is doing it, makes it look easy. It makes hard things look effortless. Dangerous is someone who has something to prove or brings their baggage into the room. And the scariest combination is a talented, dangerous person. That is terrifying because you don't know who you're getting. It's I hate to say it because they're good dogs, but it's the pit bull mentality. Like, do I pet it? Do I stay away? Do I have to fight it? And like, that's a dangerous example of that. I don't know if that pit bull's hungry that day, or if they're pissed, or if they don't like the temperature of the room.
Injured.
Yes.
Yep.
And so, like, talent, like, give me as many talented people as possible. Keep the dangerous people the hell away from me. Because it's like, if I can't trust you, then this relationship has a very low class ceiling.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people who are untrustworthy, who are not safe training partners or coaches, or, you know, have never done the sport and are teaching it. And like, that fucking blows my mind.
Yep.
Like, If you like, I would never take an English class from a teacher who's never read a book.
Yeah.
I would never take I would never take a swimming lesson from someone who's never gotten in the pool. Like, that's just me personally. So I need someone to be able to have done these things and then explain it to me. A dangerous person, they're the people that don't care about their training partners. They're the people that have something to prove on a Tuesday afternoon. They're the people that they're only in for the smash. They just, I want to hurt someone and change her. And I'm like, that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Give me talented people are the best, and the easiest thing in the world to work with. Dangerous people, I've had very little success. Even if they win fights and they're amazing,
right?
Like, they can't sustain the training.
There has to be something with the mentality.
Yeah. Well, like, you gotta like. I like my training partners. Some of my best friends. Most people in my wedding were people I've sparred and trained with. You know, and like, or punch in the face, and it's just like but I also never felt a hint of danger with them.
Right.
There's an excitement, but like, not danger.
You feel protection, if anything, right? Because you have that trust. But if it's the other way around, what's the point? Like, what
exactly.
you're saying, right?
Like, I don't. If you have hit me hard and then you're trying to go for the kill, and it's a 10 a.m. class on a Monday, like, I got nothing for you.
Yeah.
Like, there is certain things we do have to drill as like fighters, but like, if I feel you're dangerous, you're getting moved towards the exit quicker and quicker.
Yeah. It's a time and place.
Absolutely.
Last thing, because we're running out of time here. If this was the last podcast you ever did,
yes.
What message would you leave for your team and your family?
Oh shit! If I had
big one,
the very last thing I would, you know what I feel like for my team, I would say I'm a really big proponent of grace. Give yourself grace, and not in a religious way. I'm an atheist as the day is long, but like, I give yourself some grace. Like, it's okay to have the bad days and good days and the wins and the losses. Like, you're not defined by your wins. You're not defined by your losses. Give yourself the ability to be in that middle ground and keep your head up, and don't be overly hard on yourself, and don't tear yourself down. This is the most revealing sport you'll ever do. And it is hard. It doesn't have to be harder when you have negative self-talk, or you're too results oriented. There's nothing wrong with wanting to win. Once again, everyone wants to do that. But like, it's a roller coaster. And like, I've been on the roller coaster now for 20 years, and I went from being in the front row to the back row to now being like the conductor of it. So it's like, I've stayed on the ride for so long, but I've seen so many changes and so many things happen. And the number one thing I see people that deteriorates the quality of the person in the training quicker is when they're too hard on themselves. Like, yes, this is a very revealing sport, and it can be shitty at times, and you can hate it sometimes, but give yourself, it's okay to have those feelings, and it's okay to have that relationship with it. Just come back on Monday. Just come back. Like, always come back. If I had anything I have to tell my family, is just like, I get to live in Disneyland because of them. Because like, my wife, it was the one who wanted me to do this full time. Like, I was working full time at the hospital, full time running the gym, and I was serving 2 masters. And without her pushing me, I don't know if I'd ever would have got here. And now I live the happiest life I could ever do. My son gives me gravity for what I need to do and what I have to do, and like, it's a whole different level of things. So anything I had to tell them would just be like, I'm only the best version of myself because of them, and by what they've given me. So like, I'm very lucky. And I recognize how lucky I am. It's from hard work and good relationships and good decisions, but like, I'm just lucky. And I think that if you view every day like that, then, you know, if you appreciate all the little stuff and appreciate those around you and the environment that you create for yourself, then I'm on vacation every day, you know? Like, I live a really cool life, and so like, I don't take it for granted ever.
That's awesome, man.
Try my best.
Thank you so much.
Of course, bruv.